Gold versus Bitcoin. Which one is better? I'll discuss. Welcome to the Energy Dealers Network. Gold versus Bitcoin. A skill issue. Gold's failings for a digital world. Why go digital? Why go from shells to gold? Money acts as a communication tool. The communication of value. Consider the energy. A fixed system of energy and resources. Money exists as a tool for fair claim to those resources. Thus, the value of the claim must be derived from the value of what it is being used to claim. The money itself must be fairly valued as it exists as a control tool and a measure of the resource it is being used to access. In our digital world, money exists in an information-based state. Money has become information. It is information about itself, nominal amount, and also information about what it can claim, reflected in pricing. In the digital realm, we must ensure the integrity of that information in order to preserve the value of its use as a claim. Bitcoin, for example, preserves its integrity and thus value of its unit, and thus the unit's value will eventually become an accurate reflection of the value of what it can claim in reality. It is an accurate value of itself. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. No leaks. $1 may equal $1 on face value, but in regards to the value of its claim within the system, that changes. We have no idea what $1 should be worth or what it translates to. However, when Bitcoin reaches its true value potential, we will know exactly the value of 1 sat and what it represents and what it truly means as a unit of measurement, just as we know the value of 1 centimeter and what it represents. As of now, we remain illiterate to that understanding. With BTC and the implementation of Proof of Work (POW), the Bitcoin is a unit of measurement that extends beyond the limits of the digital system that it is contained to, allowing it to be a universal measuring tool. When money becomes information, the exchange of money becomes the transmission and exchange of information. You must secure the integrity of it for it to be of any use. If that information is incorrect anywhere within the system, then what use is it? What use is a fuel gauge that does not accurately reflect the level of fuel that is in the tank? You are being provided information, but that information is not accurate. A false signal is being sent. What does it mean for the car that monitors for when fuel levels are low in order to alert the driver? The fuel gauge information does not reflect reality. Thus, it is as useful as a broken clock. When you deposit cash into a bank, your money is represented as information in the digital format. $10 of real cash reserves has entered the system. As a result, $10 in the form of digital information will be shown to you as your bank balance. That digital balance is a number to you. For the bank, it is connected to information about the reserves that they have and who has the right to claim them. That digital number can be transferred. What is being transferred is information about who has the right to claim the real cash reserves that have entered the system. However, that digital number's value as money is only as valuable as the ability to ensure and secure the integrity of those claims. The number of claims, which exist as bank balances, must always reflect reality, otherwise they are false information, similar to the fuel tank. No one should be able to create false information within the system. If the banking layer can secure the integrity of those units, then it will be information that accurately reflects the reality and can therefore be used as an abstract representation tool for the reserves that exist in the real world. For example, $1 million in digital bank balances, while simultaneously having $1 million in physical cash reserves. The information acts as a reflection of reality since it is accurately reflecting the value that exists in reality. If, however, the bank cannot secure the information on the claims, then the claim and its face value ceases to be accurate information and instead becomes misinformation. What use is it if your bank balance says $1,000 but there are only $500 in available cash reserves within the banking system. The information does not reflect reality, since there exists no reality in which you can go to the bank and get more than $500. Yet, you would have based your reality on the belief that you had $1,000. What purpose did the digital bank balance serve if it did not act as an accurate reflection of the value it was said to represent? Thus, the banking layer is a tightly controlled and coordinated layer that deals in the securing of physical reserves, as well as the securing and transfer of information about those reserves. Money can become a digital number on a screen when those numbers remain accurate information about the real physical money that exists in reality. If they do not remain accurate, then it is not accurate information, and it is no different from a mirage or illusion. This is why $1 equals $1 is so dangerous. Yes, $1 is accurate information about itself. 1 equals 1. But it gives you no indication of its value in regards to the total system. You are given no transparent information about its portion of the total supply. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. And 1 Bitcoin will always be 1 out of 21 million. But to summarize, the prior paragraph was emphasizing the importance of securing information to give it integrity, which the banking system does with the dollar, in theory. So, although you may hate the fiat system, if they have a system that can secure the information that they transmit regarding the reserves that they hold, then a digital number on a screen is as good as the real thing, so long as the digital number reflects the value of what is there in reality. But it is also why Bitcoin is so good, because Bitcoin secures the information of the unit's value of itself. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin, as well as its value within the entire system, 1 out of 21 million, whilst also giving a way to securely transmit that information with high security. Instead of having to rely on a cartel of trusted bankers who possess their own trusted communication network, you can rely on a decentralized computer network that is utilizing the surplus energy of the entire planet to secure the integrity of its information. It is security and authority that does not depend upon a centralized source or third party. Satoshi understood that money could just be information, just a number on a screen and an entry in a database. Ensuring the accuracy and integrity of the information was Satoshi's highest priority. The money could never be represented incorrectly, which would then produce a false signal for the network and for users of that network. Accuracy is achieved through high security. That is the priority, not transaction speed. The network ensures the accuracy and integrity of information through its use of chained blocks via hashing. This secures past information, whilst also securing it in its present state by ensuring an energetic constraint to make additional changes. The constant hash rate preserves the state of the network and its integrity in the present, and continues to do so going into the future. The chain cannot seem to get to the point of making accounting mistakes, because in its present moment, it is using all its energy to find a valid block. If you wish to override this, you will have to outcompete the total sum of energy that is working honestly to satisfy the requirements of the network. Supply audits, ledger tracking, security, all done one block at a time, every 10 minutes. For those who think Bitcoin is slow, I'm sorry, but I think it is you who is a bit slow. How can we determine the value of 1 ounce of gold if we don't know what that ounce represents in terms of percentage of total supply? How long would it take to do an entire audit of the world's gold supply and track all of it as it is exchanged? What use is gold in the digital age? How do we securely store and represent value in the digital age? In the digital world, money is information. So how do you secure the integrity of the information, and thus its value, when we live in the world of copy and paste? When there exists no constraint to the amount of numbers that can be represented on a screen, These numbers are used to represent value, but they cannot store value. They can be information about the money, but they cannot be money. When information is transferred, you seek for that information to be accurate. In the case of Bitcoin, that information is about the money supply. But Bitcoin is information, and thus the information is the money supply. Thus, the information at any point in which it is presented by the network can never be wrong. So when you transfer money, the information that is being transmitted must be accurate. Thus, instead of seeing it as money, you can see it as a transmission of a signal. If the signal does not accurately represent what was sent from the source, the signal has been disrupted, and it is then considered noise, or a signal that has been interfered with. Satoshi created a secure messaging protocol in which its messages fulfill the functions and properties of money. The money is information. The information is the money. The network works to secure the integrity of its information and the signals it produces. Thus, none of its signals can be interrupted, distorted, or altered, allowing for accurate value representation and value transmission. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. Can you see that we will have this requirement in our digital future? Some will say we will solve that problem with gold-backed digital units. Digital gold, you say? Remember, if you want to represent gold in a digital format, it will exist as information. You must secure the integrity of that information so that it reflects reality. Otherwise, it is not information about the reality. How then do you enforce the integrity of digital gold as it exists in a digital format? By telling you that the unit is backed by gold. How do you trust it? They may say one digital gold unit can claim a fixed amount of gold, or is backed by a fixed amount of gold. But you would ideally need all gold in a central place in order to aid the ability of ensuring that, at any state, the number of claims is equal to the quantity of gold that exists in reality. You would then need to audit its entire supply and maintain a constant audit. Again, easier if the gold is in a central place. All of this requires central parties and you trusting those central parties. What is the purpose of this digital gold as it exists in digital form? How would it not just be a number on a screen? How will it differ from the dollar, especially if you cannot guarantee its accuracy as a unit of information that is supposed to be reflecting the quantity of gold that exists in reality? That is why you're using it, right? The so-called gold on the blockchain, as they say. One digital gold unit must always equal the value of what it is said to claim, the quantity of gold that is backing it. If it cannot claim that, then it is not the truth. It is false information. An economy is basing itself off of a false signal of value, since more claims can exist beyond the value of what there is to claim within the reality. The claims and their face values have become disconnected from truth. Thus, they cannot be used to accurately represent the values that exist within reality. Be it that it cannot be used to accurately represent the value of itself, and thus cannot be used as a unit of measurement. And please don't you dare say or welcome a world where you must rely on faith, where you are simply told that your digital unit is backed by an equivalent amount of gold, but yet being given no way to verify that by actually claiming the gold. Much like the bank that does not have your reserves yet is happy to show you a bank balance. If the number is not a true reflection of reality, and you have no way of testing it in said reality, then how can you verify the integrity of the information? You're transacting on the basis that this unit is backed by, but yet you are not permitted to test and verify this information. The face value of this money provides you with false information, thus it is misinformation. Just a number on a screen. Or a worthless piece of paper. Supply audits, ledger tracking, security. Can you see why this is all required? Bitcoin did this one block at a time at a 10-minute interval and will continue to do it. How much time and energy must be expended to do this with gold? A coordinated system that accurately monitors the global supply of gold as it exists and as it is found, then abstractly represents that supply and its value within the digital world. One globally coordinated gold-based digital system? What is the speed in which the gold system will communicate with itself regarding changes with its supply? How will what's going on in the physical be reflected in the digital, and at what speed? The gold units, as they exist digitally, must be an accurate reflection of the reality. Otherwise, they are not accurate information about the reality, and are thus not accurate information about itself. It will not serve the purpose of communicating value. The signal is what coordinates the civilization based on accurate communication of value. There is no way the system could maintain an agreement on what the reality is and the current state of the money supply. It would be like one of those other blockchains that keep going down because the network cannot agree on its state. The money is information. The information is how the network coordinates itself. The communication of value based on that information is how humans coordinate and organize themselves. It is the signal, and it must be accurate. One block every 10 minutes. Bitcoin is a lossless communication protocol. Fiat and everything else is a game of Chinese whispers. Gold serves a purpose, but money is a communication and coordination tool. Gold's properties cannot be translated into the digital realm without enforcement. So, how will you enforce it? The internet allowed for the transfer of information and allowed us to reach a level of global coordination and witness the advancements that could come from that. Coordination is key, and money is required to satisfy the needs of a highly connected world. Gold alone will not allow for this. The levels that humanity will reach can only be achieved via controlled coordination via a signal that cannot be disrupted. Money and our interaction with it is being distorted so that it serves the will of the few. They muddy the signal, and in doing so, money does not serve its purpose, but instead serves theirs. Humanity can never advance past a system that seeks for you to be a slave to its signal, where within that system, the signal evolves to become one that emits from a central controller, a signal of their will that seeks to control and influence you. Could we have gotten humanity to the level of advancement we have now with a money supply that consists of shells and beads? Corruption stepped in, and what was once stable became unstable. Look at what happened. Look at the monetary properties of a shell when compared to a better money such as gold. What did gold allow that shells didn't? What also did it prevent? Money is a preservation tool, and what could not be preserved would inevitably be destroyed. What better way to wage war on an enemy than by destroying their money? The very tool that is used for societal coordination and organization. So how can you organize and coordinate a global advanced civilization if you do not have a tool for the communication of value at the speed that is required? But how can you ensure the speed of information transfer without ever compromising on accuracy, thus potentially compromising on the integrity of that information and the signal it provides, which would then lead to a distortion of the money supply, which then distorts the communication of value? In our reality, accuracy and security takes priority over speed, and Satoshi would agree. This is evident in the fact that a block may take longer than 10 minutes to find on occasion. This is the process that prevents the false transmission of information. Remember, the money is now information. There cannot be double spends. There cannot be a false minting of money. There must not be any false signals. Humanity is about to hit the accelerate button, and Bitcoin will preserve value and the integrity of that information as it is represented within the digital realm, therefore securing the communication of that value as it exists within the digital age. The spirit of corruption will not get in the way. How would a civilization that organizes itself based on the communication of the value of yellow rocks compete with a civilization that can achieve a greater level of stable coordination and control via a digital network? A network that possesses a base unit that fulfills the functions and properties of money, as well as possessing the properties of gold? With Bitcoin, how can the will of the corrupt individual disrupt the value of the base unit and thus disrupt its use as a signal within the global system of coordination and communication? Such corruption would not be allowed. How can the global system communicate without speaking the same language? Money and value is the shared language. Money and its ability to communicate the value of both time and energy as it is experienced within this universal medium is why it has purpose. As a result, all participants must submit to the industry and reality that is the result of a digital base unit that is a secure measurement of value. If you can disrupt the information that is Bitcoin, information that is tightly controlled to be transmitted and verified every 10 minutes, then you can disrupt its use as a money, its value, and the signal it provides. We didn't need gold. We needed its properties. Money itself is not the value. Money is the tool used to represent that value and the claim to it. Money itself is the claim, just as gold was. Our energy, our time, and our resources are real and exist in reality. Gold was the best tool to ensure the adequate representation of the value of those things, and to grant us a tool that controlled the access to them. The scarcity yet availability of the money that is gold was an equal reflection of our time, energy, skills, and resources. Yes, there may be an abundance of human capital, but does that mean you should have unrestricted access to it? We are not slaves. With the creation of money, gold, being governed by the time and energy required to mine it, its value could be established and understood. This also serves as putting a restriction on the emission of gold, which again serves to help establish its value within the economy. It was a worthy substance that could always be used to communicate what was important, the value of our time and energy. Once it became that, it could be used as a tool to act as a claim on time and energy, since its value was an accurate reflection of the cost of time and energy. Money is valuable for this reason. It has a function. Bitcoin fulfills the properties and functions of gold, as well as the properties and functions of money. It is a better money that exceeds in areas that gold simply couldn't. Gold versus Bitcoin. A skill issue.